All right. Well, the next day comes and the sun comes up and is promptly covered by the clouds of Seattle cloud cover, and it's the day of the funeral.
So Yonkers is going to make his way out to the crime mall.
Alrighty. Yeah, once you get to the to old Johnny Knox's storefront, he's waiting for you. He's got his stuff for you. He says, "I got your gear for you here. Brand new suit, pressed and folded. Got your gel rounds here, and there's a nice new set of murder armor here with all the blood packs primed and ready to go. And you, last thing here, you wanted your triple P, full set here. That'll be what is it? About 8,100 altogether."
Yeah, sounds about right. I'll pay over the money. And then go get changed into that, get on my work and sin, and get my high-end, what do you call it, sin up and going, and my street gear on.
Hauser wakes up and puts on his rapid transit fancy clothes from the Ares Victory line, double checks the clip and the components on his Ingram Smart Gun, and makes sure that he has his RCC loaded in one of his pockets on his clothing before he heads out into the common spaces and gets ready for the group.
Case arrives on his bike to the pawn shop wearing his Ace of Diamonds suit. Has his deck in the pocket and his pistol in the shoulder holster. Looks as clean cut as possible and is much like a Humanis goon as possible.
Got yourself a crew cut. And
Are you wearing a wife beater?
No, he's in a suit.
Then you're not Humanis enough. Do you even hate group, bro?
Also, the two micro skimmers, which are about the size of coasters, and the two MCT fly eyes, Hauser is going to have them carefully stowed in the pockets of his clothing.
I'll make sure that the gun we're having is loaded up with the gel rounds, and I will double check that it is loaded, ready to go. The safety is off, but it's gel rounds and not in there, not something more serious.
Relax, mine has. There's always room for Jello.
Case. So are we on our way? Case is going to ask Hauser if he can go ahead and put a couple marks on his deck so that he can have his agent sit there and edit us out of any video that gets shot and uploaded to the Matrix.
Hauser carefully looks at his deck and looks over at Case and says, "I suppose you can come into my web, but I'm going to need those marks removed as soon as we get safely back here to the shop."
Of course they will be. I promise.
Don't screw with the man who controls your automated toilet.
all right. Well, when you guys head out there, are you guys heading out there ahead of time, or are you trying to arrive around when the festivities start?
Hauser's going to go out early.
Yeah, Case is going to go out early and separate from them to so that he can more easily mix in with the crowd of Humanis.
Yeah, Yonkers is going to go out with House. Call, and I'm going to toss the call to DeGear.
Right, DeGear answers and says, "Hello, Yonkers."
All right, we think everything is ready to go. Pretty much we're running with what I brainstormed with you yesterday.
Like I said, I trust your judgment and I trust your execution. You guys haven't let us down so far, and let's hope this works.
Well, let's hope it rains would add to the effect.
Okay. Case also gets his agent started and then jacks a chip in his SimSense to start recording from his point of view. and has his agent use the fork program to edit both files.
Well, when you guys get there, it looks nothing like this picture I have up here, but I thought I'd just put this in here and just to set the scene, so to speak.
Set the tone.
Yeah. Instead of there being mountains in the background, there are buildings blocking the mountains that would be seen off on the skyline. And instead of there being a bunch of old people, there's a bunch of typically fit and young-looking tall elves. There will eventually be a funeral pyre. But you guys get into the Talisar, no problem. The Talisar, as you may or may not know, is a mostly elf-dominated area. In fact, they don't look highly on outsiders coming into the area. There's a whole history of bigotry and segregation and anti-metahuman, all sorts of stuff that has contributed to the establishment of the Talisar, and it's pretty much a huge elven district in Seattle that is mostly forgotten by the Seattle government proper. I think officially, actually, the Metroplex government has abandoned the Talisar officially, but Knight Errant does handle security to a small extent there. The Talisar has managed to negotiate some sort of a small contract for security there.
So are we going to be in view of the Humanis Poly Club from the van? Because I'm wondering where Davros is going to be during all this, because he doesn't really fit in with Humanis Poly Club, but he doesn't really fit in with the funeral goers either.
Well, there's probably going to be humans among the goers and such. There's going to probably be a mixed assortment. You would be in what would be the Lisa term is you would be part of the forest. I think that part of so being there, I don't think would draw too much attention. I'm trying to remember what the mafia term is, but it's like, you're not a made man, but you're a wise guy, person in the know. You're an associate, someone tangential to the group.
Well, and unless you guys have another vehicle, Hauser's not driving and he's not really bringing an automobile, so you guys are going to have to sort that out.
So how did you guys get there?
I hear taxis are cool.
There you go.
Hauser walked out since he's leaving early anyway.
All right, well, you get there. There's a lot of partying going on and a lot of people around. It's actually a pretty well-attended event. Lots of people are there. It seems that, if you were to pay a decent amount of attention of people who are gathering around, and there's a lot of drinking going on and stuff like that. And it's in a public park. There's a funeral pyre that's not lit, but that's being constructed in the middle of a park. There are some Humanis people that are starting to set up. There's like kind of a cordon off area where people are starting to slowly trickle in from that group. It looks like they've established that they're going to do an official protest, and there's even a couple of Knight Errant officers already there, sort of looking to oversee the situation. It's obvious that this is potentially, a situation that could explode.
I just want to keep an eye out on the Humanis Poly Club people, just to, I guess, kind of see if I can single out anybody that seems to be very agitated or just upset, because I feel like it would probably be easier to convince them to shoot if they're already in that mindset. So I'm just going to keep an eye out and see if I see anybody like that.
All right. So are you observing the astral plane, or are you just keeping an eye out in physical meat space?
Yeah, I'll do the astral plane to see if I see anybody's aura that jumps out at me.
All right. When you pop into the astral plane, it's pretty obvious right away that there's a decent background count. It's something you would expect because it's a funeral. Also, there's a bunch of angry protesters, and so there's a decent background count. You'll get a minus 3. So if you're looking to observe in the astral plane, you'll just need to do a perception test, and again, you get a minus 3.
House is going to just check to make sure all of his devices are running in stealth mode before he activates the drones and have them start flying around in a perimeter circle.
Now, is House looking for anything in particular?
Nope. At this point, he's going to just be getting them into place, and then he'll start searching and/or recording and broadcasting as soon as he gets a signal from the rest of the group.
How many successes did Davros get?
Just 1.
All right. Well, it's not clear to you that anybody in particular is any more agitated than others. All the Humanis people are pretty agitated. I mean, they're all kind of, angry about the whole event. I mean, they really don't like elves or, any metahumans for that matter, but they're very emotional about the whole thing.
Okay. I'm going to turn to Case and say, whenever you're ready, I can make you invisible so you can go over there.
Once the drones are in place, then House is going to send a message over to Yonkers and say, I've got eyes in the sky. Let me know when you want me to start broadcasting.
Just tell me where the Poly Club is, and I'll do a walk by and set up cases or our gunner shot.
All right. So when Davros said whenever you're ready, he turns to Davros and says, light it up. And then he changes his mind and says, that's probably not what I should tell you. Just make me invisible.
All right. Well, I'll go ahead and cast invisibility or improve invisibility on Case. And I'm just going to do Force 3 and 7 successes.
Hey, kid, when things start heating up, I may need you to help me go vanish.
Okay. Can you give me some sort of signal when you want to disappear?
I'll let you know.
Alrighty. Well, I guess in that case, is there anywhere just kind of out of the way where nobody, I don't know, like behind a building or something, just where I can go and...
Yeah, I mean, there's buildings all over the place around this park.
Right. Well, then we won't look like we're going together, obviously, but we'll kind of just, I guess, end up behind the same building and just out of sight, and I'll just make him invisible somewhere.
I mean, it's a line of sight spell, so all you have to do is see me, right? You don't have to make physical touch or anything like that.
Okay, yeah. Well, then you should just probably be behind the building so that nobody sees you disappear into thin air.
So Case carefully works his way into the Humanis crowd.
I just thought of something. If Case is going to lay down the pistol or give the pistol to a Humanis Poly Club member, but then I fail in controlling their thoughts and letting them shoot, how is Case going to get back the pistol to shoot?
I mean, he only needs to shoot it once. I mean, I can always drop it in somebody's pocket, and you do the.
Oh, actually, I think so. If I'll do the control thoughts, or also I'll control the guy's thoughts, and if I'm successful, I'll have him kneel to the ground or something. And if you see the person kneel to the ground, then you can go and drop the gun in front of them. But if you don't, then you'll keep the gun and shoot it yourself.
Well, I mean, as a backup plan, I've got my pistol. It's got regular rounds in it, but if you can't get to the guy to shoot, I'll just stand next to him and shoot. And we're editing me out of the video anyway, so it could still look like it's coming from his direction.
Mm-hmm. I think the invisibility works against technological sensors too.
Okay, when we're ready. So Case starts working his way to the front, about the front third of the crowd. He's going to get about 3 rows behind the actual front, so that it's not too obvious. And finds a good sucker to frame for this while he's looking, keeping an eye out for Yonkers.
It shouldn't be difficult for you to find Yonkers. You guys are connected via some sort of communication.
I'm going to wait till the procession starts and put myself on that side of the procession on the outside, and just sort of walk along.
All right, and you guys are there, and the protesters are set up and everything, and they've got all sorts of inflammatory banners up, like some religiously motivated, saying things like, God wanted this elf dead, and all sorts of very racially motivated things like daisy eaters, whatever, go back in the ground, and blah blah blah.
Keeblers are cookies, not people.
Yeah. And you're able to find, you can pick any sort of schmuck out of the crowd, and they're all kind of behind a fence and some barricades that have been set up. If you're just going to pick a random dude, then yeah, you can pick a random dude.
All right. Well, I'd like to look for someone who doesn't seem so on the ball about what's going on around him. Someone with the kind of the robot-looking face that's definitely a follower and not someone who thinks for themselves.
All right, give me a perception.
3 hits.
All right, yeah, you find somebody who looks like, some typical mouth-breathing racist.
Okay, I go stand as close to him as I can, and I'm going to try to put the pistol. What is he wearing?
Just wearing like jeans and a t-shirt and like flannel.
Okay, I put up arrow in AR with a big arrow that says "this guy," and to send that to Davros.
All right, Davros will look at him. And so, has the procession started yet? Are people going up?
Okay. And in the meantime, I'm going to try to slip the pistol in his pocket.
All right, give me a palming.
Should have thought that through a little bit more. What is that default to?
Agility.
2 successes on 3 dice.
All right, you managed to drop a pistol into his. He doesn't appear to notice.
He sends out a quick test to Molly. You'd be proud of me.
I queue up a text that says now for Davros and just have it pending.
All right, Yonkers, while you're walking around and getting situated, you notice out of the corner of your eye, you notice in the group of protesters that there's a guy who's there, and he's in a wheelchair, and you recognize him as the guy who the guy who was doing all the talking in the group of people that assaulted you outside of a bar in Snohomish about a month ago.
Oh boy. Hey guys, we might have a complication.
What?
I send a image link of our boy.
You all recognize the guy on the image. He's in a wheelchair. He's got like a leg cast and some and some, his face looks pretty messed up, and but he's definitely part of the protesting with the rest of these guys.
Well, I spent 2,500 Nuyen on a drone to cover your escape. So if you can beat the shit out of him and take anything of value off his persons, that would help me recoup my loss.
How much are wheelchairs going for in this day and age?
When I'm done with it, it'll be tricked out better than most monster trucks.
I'll do my walk by, and kid, get ready to move. I have a hunch that this guy might do something stupid.
Isn't that kind of what we're going for?
Yeah, but I'd rather have stupid happen on my terms.
I apologize. I must have missed something. What's going on with the guy in the wheelchair?
Remember first session, I beat a guy up in the street, like almost to death?
Yeah.
He's here.
All right, and?
I'm just concerned that he might...
All right, gotcha.
So Yonkers starts doing the walk up on the Polyhumanist side.
I'm gonna send Yonkers a text. Just go on with the plan. I've got a plan for him. I'll take him out of the picture as soon as everything starts.
All right. Once I'm in line of sight of our Goomba, I tell the kid to do it.
Okay, as soon as I get the go-ahead from Yonkers, I will instantly go ahead and turn towards the designated shooter and cast Control Thoughts.
Case is looking for the icon to the guy's wheelchair.
Yeah, you can find you definitely can easily find the icon.
I'm going for 2 marks, 1 success.
You didn't get it.
All right, I would like to try again.
All right, -1.
3 successes.
All right, you got your 2 marks.
I'm ready when Yonkers is ready to start everything off.
All right, well, you guys have your setup going, and the procession is about to start. Everybody's pretty. It's actually a pretty lively event. There seems to be a lot of those of you who are mingling among the elven crowd. There's a lot of talk going on, and it's what you might imagine, or what I imagine. I've never been to an Irish wake or funeral or anything like that, but I have seen things like The Wire, so I've seen on TV. It's something like that. There's a lot of drinking, there's a lot of talking and storytelling and remembering and whatnot. Even some people, if you're listening closely, some people are passing around and trying to sell. Well, they would try to sell to people like you. Lace, but some people are just passing it around. Those who are in the in the circle and friends of friends and stuff like that. But lace is a drug that is commonly used in the lesa, which is a mind a memory altering drug that's popular, makes you forget. So the procession does start, and the by this point, the protesters have gathered up to. There's about 40 of them or so. You can see ahead of time the procession starting, haunted house, and you also can easily get a count with your drone setup of all these protesters, and they're pretty tightly packed in the area that they're in, but they're also being closely watched by Knight Errant, and they're getting kind of rowdy and loud, and a lot of the elves are really annoyed by what's going on, and those of you like Davros and Yonkers who are among the elves can hear a lot of people talking about how disrespectful they are, and I wish we could just do something about these guys, that kind of thing. All right, go ahead and roll your spellcasting, I suppose. Control thoughts. Wow,
Ugh.
you have failed to get control over him.
All right, I would like to try again.
You can try again with a. Well, no, you don't get a -1 because this is kind of a different sort of thing. Well, yeah, you need a -1.
Okay, I am also going to pre-edge this, so 11 die. Force 6. Highest I can. Oh, oh my gosh.
You got 1 net hit.
Control it. So I'm going to tell him to get his pistol out of his pocket and aim it and shoot Yonkers.